Today we would like to show you how to cut heat transfer vinyl with the Brothers ScanNCut. Once you have imported your SVG file using the SVG tab on the left of the screen, the project will load onto your Mac. Select the entire design by clicking and dragging a block around the design to select all the different parts. Take care not to move any of the parts out of place. Once you have all the separate parts selected, right-click for a drop-down menu to appear. Scroll down and click on the Group tab. Once the design has been grouped, it is important to resize the design to fit the desired clothing article. You can do so by dragging one of the corners to the inside. Once you have changed the size of the design to fit your clothing article, you must ungroup the design to be able to work with the separate parts again. To ungroup the design, right-click on the design for the drop-down menu to appear and scroll down to select the Ungroup tab. It is now time to select the parts of the design with the same color to move it to a separate spot on the mat. On the left of the Canvas workspace screen, there are 4 icons in a row. The third icon will allow you to see the different layers of the design. Holding the Shift key, start clicking on the green letters until Little Helper is selected. This will allow you to group all the green letters together. This allows for one grouped unit to be moved together. Repeat the same step with the pink Santa's letters to be grouped together. Ensure selecting the pink parts of the hat together with the pink letters before moving it to a different spot on the mat, as the pink parts of the design should stay in proportion to one another to create a base to build the design again later. Move the other green parts of the hat closer to the Little Helper to cut the same color vinyl together in one go. Move the blue stars and circles closer together and group them as well. Rearrange the design parts on the mat to be able to lay the different colors of the vinyl on different spots of the cutting mat, as it is possible to add multiple colors of vinyl to a mat and cut all the colors at the same time. Tip: it is important to cut different materials of the same thickness at the same time. This error will appear when you have grouped 3 layers together, and it will not allow you to group any more objects together. Thus, you have to mirror the designs separately. When using heat transfer vinyl, it is important to change the design to its mirror image, as you will be cutting on the back of the heat transfer vinyl and not through the front of the transfer sheet. All the editing to the design is now complete. Left-click on File on the top left corner of the screen to export the file to an FCM file format cutting file for the Brothers ScanNCut. You can either export the file directly to your computer or transfer the FCM file directly to the ScanNCut via Wi-Fi, or transfer the file to the ScanNCut via a USB cable or a flash drive. We save the design directly to the computer. Create a folder where you would like to save your design FCM files. Open the folder and name the file. It is best to name the file with the size used to design the file for future use. We have PDF instructions available to show you how to get SVG files into your Canvas workspace and how to create a Canvas workspace profile. We have PDF instructions available to show you how to get SVG files into your Canvas workspace and how to create a Canvas workspace profile. If you would like to receive these instructions, please send us an email to info@runco.co.za. Import the design into the ScanNCut either via Wi-Fi transfer or USB. Open the file and continue to the editing screen to be able to determine the size needed to cut your different pieces of vinyl. Place your different colored vinyl on your standard tack mat, the purple mat. And use painter's tape to keep the vinyl pieces from moving and the corners from curling up. Take care not to cover any of the mat's registration marks. It is best to use the vinyl blade, the blue blade, when cutting vinyl. If you do not have the vinyl blade, use your auto blade, the black blade, with a slow cutting speed. We have two different thicknesses of vinyl, and it is best to cut the vinyl that consists of the same thickness at the same time. Thus, delete the other patterns on the mat. It is important to first do a test cut. For our test cut, the cutting speed was 2, cutting pressure was auto, and half cut was enabled. Move the test cut into a position where it will not cut the pattern. If the test cut was a clean cut, you can proceed to cut the rest of the design. If not, increase the cutting pressure and repeat the test cut. Proceed with cutting the other two patterns of the same thickness of vinyl. It is necessary to do a test cut again. If the test cut comes out clean, proceed to cut the remainder of the design. When all the patterns are done cutting, remove the pieces of vinyl from the mat and start the weeding process. Weeding consists of removing the excess vinyl around the cut design. Once the weeding is complete, the cut design will remain on the transfer sheet. We moved our pattern in such a way to save the most amount of product. Thus, it is necessary to cut the transfer sheet to separate the different parts. Continue the weeding process with the second and third color. Prepare the baby grow or t-shirt by placing a paper towel on the inside to prevent the glue from the vinyl seeping through. Once all the parts has been weeded, it is time to start assembling the design. Start with the biggest vinyl pattern. Use your sewer's companion ruler to measure the center of your clothing article and use the lines to straighten out the cut design. Place a Teflon sheet over the clothing article and use a hot iron to iron the vinyl and apply slight pressure. As a general rule, iron for 10 seconds in intervals of 3. When you have ironed the 3 intervals, wait for the transfer sheet to cool down before starting to peel the transfer sheet off in a slow motion while supporting the clothing article with your other hand. Once the first piece is ironed securely, start adding the second color to build the design. Use your sewer's companion ruler to ensure your design is placed in a straight line on the clothing article. Once the second pattern's color is in place, use the hot iron to iron the vinyl in place. Follow the same guidelines when ironing as you did for the first color of vinyl. Wait for the transfer sheet to cool down and start peeling the transfer sheet off in a slow motion. Place the third design pattern in place. Try using the iron only where the design is situated as not to overheat and melt the other pieces of vinyl. When the transfer sheet is cooled down, peel off the transfer sheet in a slow motion. Lastly, iron over the entire design to ensure the vinyl has fully adhered to the clothing article.